The crown just doesn't do anything for me. I was trying to be clever, and that's just going to be really hard and take a lot of time, so I'm going to just kind of peel that off. The economy and simplicity. Lacking a lot of vitality. I'm going to bring the vitality back. This is just garbage. We can throw this right in the trash. So I have this back up here at eye level, standing, because I'm going to need to work fast. I'll introduce a little bit of moisture to this so the clay will adhere. Okay, I'm breaking in a new camera and trying to learn the ins and outs of the camera. So we'll want plenty of these little sausages. And the reasons why I'm doing the Fisher King is there's so much metaphor with the Fisher King. To me, I think the Fisher King is a superhero novel, began in the 11th century. And the Knights of the Round Table it was about honor and virtue, and we have superpowers. And it is virtue and valor, courage. Those are our superpowers. Honesty. Many people have died for being honest brokers. Honesty doesn't always vindicate, particularly when there's rogue elements in the kingdom that are there to usurp your power. The king archetype represents the fertility of the kingdom. We call that, this day and age, gross national product. But the fertility of the kingdom has more than just to deal with gross national product. There's, like in Bhutan, they have gross national happiness. But it's the welfare of the kingdom. Why was he entrusted to the Grail? The Grail legends say it's the blood of Christ was spilled in the Grail. Others say it was the Grail could actually be the actual bloodline of Christ, and that Mary was the Holy Grail. And of course, the motif of the Fisher King, the early Christian symbol of the fish, so if we're talking motif, Christian motif, we've got crown of thorns, could be incorporated into this. Samurai, had a sort of a, that sort of a thing. There's two samurai. I'll let that shape just kind of sit and resonate with me for a while, see if it does anything. It certainly does a lot more than the last one, just didn't do anything for me. Economy, I don't want to put too much back here anyway. Okay. We want to put hair. The closer you are to your work, distance-wise, the smaller, tend to work smaller. Maybe it's not advantageous to work smaller. Step back, take a look at that shape. Remember, I was having troubles with that collar. Maybe it's the hair. Hair pushing up and coiling around. Now, that's starting to do something for me now. Repetition with variation. Keeping the big movements primary. You can let the little movements overpower the big movements. Stay on as large a tool as possible. Look at the shape there. I'm just going to continue with little small movements like that. Lost and found edge. Much more interesting on a big thing of hair like this. Have it lost and found. See how much more interesting that is? Now I've got the coils kind of blocked in. My little rule of thumb is square things off. Make little boxes out of them. Do the basic shapes. It's a good idea sometimes to just sit back and look at it and turn it and see what's going on. I think that curl could use something like that. Breaking up those lines. So it's a little interesting to create incidences along the edge. There, that's a lot more interesting. With my new camera setup, I'm forgetting to turn my microphone on, so I'm going to try and explain some of the stuff that's going on here. I'm taking a round tool, wire tool, which will simulate the tool that I'll try to carve that in. And I rotate it would simulate a rondelle, which would be a round chisel, and simulate the direction of the curls and how I'm going to carve them. Just getting some of the cuts into the curls to demonstrate the directions and motion of the curl. Sitting back at a distance, and turn it. I'm not concerned with that symmetry of the hair like that. This is from behind, and it's not going to be seen from behind. What's important is the symmetry all the way around, except for that. It all works, so that's good. Now I'll work with the crown and the hair. I'm getting a lot better shapes, more meaningful shapes. So let's see where we go with this. Now I'm working the crown of the hair. I need to have some variety back here, but you see that he looks kind of flat-headed, and then it goes straight down. I've got to avoid that at all costs. That's just not good. There's just a slight variation there. Looks a lot better. Again, around the crown, the hair will radiate. Again, the time to solve some of these issues with the hair are right now. And thinking about how I'm going to carve it, shapes I'm going to be sensitive to. Once you make a gouge in there with your chisel, there's no bringing it back. So it's good to have a road map. Not to be entirely slavish to the road map. And again, lost and found lines don't hurt. Having this crown appear and disappear, not a bad thing. Okay. We're good enough to start to play with a little up there. It's always a little more or less.